The internet just blew up once more. The entire reality TV world has been rocked to its foundation by a new legal bombshell, just when you thought the controversy surrounding Erica Mena and Mendeecees had finally subsided. Court documents are circulating on social media, fans are in shock, and everyone is wondering the same thing. What did Mendeecees do now? So fasten your seatbelts because Erica Mena has officially sued him, and it's not just any lawsuit. According to reports, a judge has blocked all of the Mendeecees' bank accounts in the wake of a delicate child support case that Erica filed in total secrecy. No notice, not a press, merely a request for accountability and some chilly documentation. According to insiders, Erica is upset, Yandy is devastated, and Mendeecees was taken by surprise. She's finished being kind. Fans are glued to their televisions like it's the season finale of Love and hip-hop itself, as the drama has taken an unexpected turn, with financial records, courtroom tears, and devastating betrayals spilling from every angle. How did we arrive here? What proof did Eric present? And what did Mendeecees conceal that compelled the court to act in such a harsh manner? Stay put because what you're going to hear will completely alter your life. With her heart thumping like a drum in her chest, Erica Mena sat in the deserted conference room with her palms flat against the mahogany table. Outside, the courthouse was alive with rumors about Mendeecees' car sitting at the curb, fans making wild guesses, and paraplegics poised to strike. She shut her eyes and let the consequences of her actions to sink in. After she had secretly filed the petition and signed her name beneath the lines that would deprive Mendeecees of his financial independence, the judge decided to freeze all of his accounts while the child support trial was ongoing. He was left reeling by a sudden blow without any prior notice or bargaining. Mendeecees Harris was shouting at his manager in his fancy living room, his phone clamped to his ear, his voice increasing in terror. How could she accomplish this without uttering a single word? How come I wasn't informed? The court doesn't owe him a heads up, the manager said in a cool but authoritative manner. Everything was properly filed by Erica's lawyers. Based on the evidence she provided, the judge took action. Like a sadistic gaming board, piles of papers, financial statements, and pictures of his different homes were strewn across the coffee table behind him. He placed a framed picture of Yandy on the table with shaking hands. He ran a hand through his hair and murmured, "I can't believe she did this. Yandy will always despise me." Back at the courthouse, a hefty folder of papers was set down in front of the clerk by Erica's attorney, a steely woman named Monique. Every page listed the costs Erica had expended both before and after the baby was born, including prenatal visits, medical bills, and even daycare charges while she worked on her nonprofit. Despite the startling figures, Monique had meticulously analyzed every penny, so there was no room for Mendeecees' crew to take advantage of. With the judge's signature staring back at her in big italics, Erica watched as the clerk stamped the motion as granted. Her eyes pricked with tears, not because of shame but out of relief. At last, she would receive the assistance she was due. Meanwhile, Yandy Smith was pacing in a tight hoodie with her phone close to her ear in a nearby hallway. She was upset, divided between anger at Mendeecees' deception and pity for Erica's hardship as a new mother. "All I want is for him to become a father," she whispered softly, her voice breaking. "He ought to reimburse her if she is owed that sum of money." However, why had Erica to go this far? Through the speaker, her friend's voice crackled. "You know Erica. She is not a playaholic. While she was raising his child alone, she felt as though you two were living together." He gave her no other option. With memories of her own pregnancy with Mendeecees rushing through her mind, including late-night heart-to-hearts, the sensation of baby kicks on both of their tummies, and their vow to tackle motherhood together, Yandy gazed at the polished marble floor. Those memories seemed like glass fragments today. Fans held their phones aloft as they waited outside the courtroom doors. Every moment was live-streamed by gossip bloggers. Erica Mena has arrived. She appears composed and prepared for battle. Comments like Team Erica all day, Mendeecees is in trouble, and I can't believe Yandy is going to testify scrolled in real time. Like wildfire, rumors circulated about a potential Yandy courtroom appearance. Some thought she would keep out of it to save her own reputation, while others conjectured the judge may subpoena her to testify about the Mendeecees' financial practices. Erica ignored flashing lights and whispered queries, maintaining a steady forward stare throughout. She had fulfilled her obligation. During those same minutes, Mendeecees was struggling to get money from friends and family to meet his immediate expenses, which included maintenance payments for a car that required a bailout to start, rent for an apartment he could hardly visit, and legal fees for a lawyer he had only just learned he needed. With a hoarse voice, he contacted his mother and said, "Mama, they froze everything. My bank account is empty. How am I going to combat this?" "You've always been a fighter, baby," she said in an attempt to calm him. "You'll overcome this." Simply determined why Eric felt deceived enough to act in this way. Hanging up, Mendeecees plopped down on his couch and measured the distance between this uncertain future and his dazzling past. Erica met with Monique and her own mother, a small woman with a stern gaze, back in the conference room. "Have you heard?" Erica muttered. "The accounts are not accessible. He is unable to take any money back." "You did the right thing, sweetheart," her mother said with a sorrowful grin. "He learned about priorities from you." Erica nodded, but she was experiencing mixed emotions on the inside. She had wanted Mendeecees to step up willingly to show that he cared, but she also needed the money to support her child. It was like a double-edged blade to freeze his money, vindication mixed with resentment. The flurry of the media went into overdrive. In the headline of a well-known entertainment blog, Erica Mena's lawsuit shakes love and hip-hop, Mendeecees left penniless. Comments like, "Finally, he's getting a taste of his own medicine. Yandy should follow suit. And I wonder how he'll pay child support now," exploded in the comments section. A commentator on a competing network likened the maneuver to a chess grandmaster's trap, saying, "Erica secretly laid the legal foundation before executing the ideal checkmate." Erica's previous tearful admissions were shown in the backdrop, intercut with fresh video showing her entering the courtroom with her chin up and her eyes blazing with resolve. Viewers were captivated. Unexpectedly, a redacted transcript of Erica's deposition was leaked by a clerk. In it, she talked about anxiety attacks, restless nights, and balancing work to make ends meet as Mendeecees performed on television and went on tour. Her voice was choking as she replied, "I begged him for help. I provided him screenshots of my outstanding invoices and bank balance. He disregarded me." Fans were blown away. One person tweeted, "I had no idea it was that bad." Another person wrote, "This changes everything." Erica was suddenly a hero for all single parents, not just a mother who was despised. In the meantime, Yandy made the decision to go to the subsequent hearing. With her face concealed by a baseball cap, she slipped into a wooden pew behind the Mendeecees legal team. There were whispers in the courtroom when the judge announced her name as a possible witness. Will she speak up? She stood slowly, her heart pounding, but the judge didn't ask her to testify. Instead, they just needed her signature on a document attesting to her lack of involvement in the financial decisions. She signed and sat back down, letting out a sigh of relief. She had escaped being pulled farther into the conflict for the time being. Erica and Monique entered the hall as the first half of the hearing came to an end. "How will you respond to critics who say freezing his accounts hurts the child too?" a reporter asked, thrusting a microphone in Erica's face. "The court is holding him accountable for past neglect," said Erica after pausing, her voice measured. "My daughter's future is assured because of this move. That is all that is important." Cameras clicked. Her calmness was lauded by fans who said things like, "Unbothered queen, she knows what's up," and Mendeecees messed up big time. However, Mendeecees was working on an appeal behind closed doors. He had found a provision in the state statute that only allowed partial freezing in the event that a non-custodial parent declined to provide voluntary support. He was going to claim that the relocation was too much now. There was a glimmer of optimism for Mendeecees when his lawyer explained the plan. If he could demonstrate that he had never neglected his obligations, he might be able to regain some access to his money. Meanwhile, Erica and her mother departed the courthouse. She felt the sun on her face as she inhaled the cool air. A part of her rejoiced in the win, while another part lamented the growing gap between her child's parents. "I just want peace, Mama," she muttered as she gently placed a hand on her mother's arm. And he must demonstrate his seriousness if he wants to be a part of her life. As he drove toward an unknown future, Mendeecees' car faded away in the distance, leaving a plume of fumes in its wake. And it became evident to fans who were following the live updates that the legal battle had only just begun. The true struggle for custody, respect, and possibly even reconciliation would take place in the upcoming seasons, but the freeze was a potent first step. Although part 1 comes to an end here, the drama was far from done, and the courthouse doors remained open. Mendeecees drove silently while mentally reliving the morning's events with his hands gripping the driving wheel. The city appeared to have changed. It felt like a kick to the belly to see his face and Erica's name twisted into headlines on every billboard, corner newsstand, and passing billboard. His brand, which he had spent half his life developing, was destroyed by a single court action. After parking on a side street, he went outside and gazed at his image in a storefront window. He saw a skinny man with hollow eyes staring back at him. He questioned how he had allowed things to get out of control. Erica Mena picked up a bottle of water upon returning to the courthouse and took a quick look at her phone. "We filed the next motion Monday," was the text message that Monique had just sent. "Take it easy this weekend." Erica returned the single word to the keyboard, "Understood." To talk about finding hidden riches, she had scheduled a private consultation with a financial specialist. According to circulating rumors, Mendeecees had shell firms and offshore accounts established years prior, and Erica planned to expose every penny. She saw her daughter having a solid, secure existence, supported by the man who helped make her rather than charity. While her twins waited for the bus outside the press school, Wendy Smith sat by herself in her car. She saw parents embrace their children for pictures, then put them in backpacks and wave them away. She missed the flurry of small shoes and lunches on those hectic mornings. Mendeecees had previously managed parent-teacher conferences, shared school fundraising, and drop-offs. The fact that she was now working alone made her feel like a burden. An envelope containing documents from the Mendeecees attorney detailing a possible settlement was resting on her lap. It contained stringent non-disclosure clauses and only provided a small portion of what Erica requested. The envelope was folded shut by Yandy. She was unable to sign away her voice or her integrity. Without giving them another glance, she put the papers back in her purse and turned on the ignition. The Mendeecees appeal team was seated around a dark oak table in his opulent office, which was strewn with spreadsheets and legal papers. Harold, his chief lawyer, tapped the pile of papers. He remarked, "The judge might have gone too far. We'll ask for an urgent hearing to remove the freeze or, at the very least, obtain a partial bond so he can get money for necessities." Tasha, another attorney, nodded. "Additionally, we discovered a provision requiring co-parenting correspondence prior to submitting such applications. One may say that Erica didn't try mediation." Mendeecees reclined in his chair, his chest tense with both relief and terror. Fear that every disagreement would be made public, relief that there was still hope, and another headline splattering across social media feeds. An unplanned roundtable was live-streamed by a podcaster across town. "Is toast made for Mendeecees? Will he swing back or what?" She questioned a former reality star and a gossip blogger who were on the panel. The celebrity gave a dramatic shrug. "He is deeply involved, putting bank accounts on hold. It's nuclear." Erica performed that flawlessly. The writer grinned. "He may discover a weakness, but the harm is already done. Fans now view him as a deadbeat father. He deserves it. Yandy should sue too, and Erica is playing chess," were among the comments that scrolled. The stream shifted to a video of a Mendeecees holding his newborn kid and vowing to be faithful years ago. The contrast between the present man on the verge of disaster and the youthful father full of optimism was painful. Erica went to a charity event later that day to help single mothers. Moving through the crowd in a stylish black outfit, she accepted warm hugs and compliments. Women commended her for standing up for all mothers who are compelled to seek support from absent husbands, not just for her child. She was followed by whispers, such as, "She's fearless, and I'd never take on VH1 like that." She was cornered at the bar by a reporter. "How do you maintain your strength?" he inquired. Erica sipped her drink slowly. She tapped her stomach and added, "I think of her. She is deserving of all the best. To ensure she never feels alone, you must occasionally stand by yourself." Phones were raised to record the moment as the surrounding tables erupted in applause. Meanwhile, for a stand consultation, Yandy drove to a lawyer's office. Although she didn't want to become involved, she was troubled by concerns about her own parenting rights and future earnings. She noticed Mendeecees' cousin seated across from her lawyer, going over documents as she entered the waiting area. The awkward realization of their gaze met. The cousin hurriedly averted his gaze. The heart of Yandy pounded. When her experience bleed over into her own legal disputes, reminding her lawyer that she wanted professionalism and privacy, not show, she steeled herself. Mendeecees called an old friend, a fellow artist who had experienced public scandals, because he was restless and couldn't handle spending another night in his penthouse. Two individuals crouched in a booth in the corner of a poorly lit lounge where they met. When Mendeecees were by themselves, they said, "I'm scared. I can't support my mom, my kids, or anybody else if they freeze all of my accounts." His pal put his hand on his shoulder. "You must have a strategy. Demonstrate your seriousness by making a public apology or offering a sizable bond. Regain empathy before you become a villain and Erica a hero." Mendeecees gave an unsure nod. He was aware that he needed a move, but what one? With laptops and legal pads ready, Eric and Monique sat by the pool at Eric's house on Sunday morning. They looked over recent bank statements made public by court orders, which included transactions with business partners, sizable wire transfers marked consulting fees, and mysterious entries indicating direct deposits into a joint account that Erica was unaware of. Monique stated, "We'll subpoena those records. That money helps you win this case more." As she gazed at the bright water, Erica thought about the money she would need for her child's schooling, a secure home, their first braces, and a summer camp vacation. She became more determined. Feeling the strain of the weekend, Yandy texted Mendeecees saying, "We need to talk about our future. We are being torn apart by this legal battle." She deleted the message after gazing at the blue ticks. She wasn't prepared for conflict. She couldn't bring more drama into her life until she discovered the clarity she needed regarding her own emotions, which included hurt, anger, and longing. Mendeecees' team prepared their appeal file back in a conference room in a high-rise building. Harold broke the terrible news. A preliminary hearing has been scheduled for Tuesday morning by the judge. "Tonight, we file." Mendeecees let out a breath, his gut nodding. Despite his trembling voice, he responded, "I'm ready. Just give me instructions." Mendeecees scrawled notes as the team outlined speaking points, express regret, present financial plan, request limited unfreezing. He mentally rehearsed the following lines. "I regret not communicating. I want to support my child, and I never intended harm." He knew he had no other option, yet it seemed forced and hollow. Insiders refuted rumors that Mendeecees will make an appearance in a tearful television apology special prior to the hearing on Monday night. One source texted, "He's not ready to face cameras again. He must concentrate on the hearing." Every rumor seemed like a burden heaped to his shoulders, and the whispers unnerved him. In order to prepare his testimony in secret, he rented a small office. He practiced by pacing in front of a mirror and breaking his voice. He clung to the hope that it may provide him with some kind of solace, even though each "I'm sorry" felt like a violation of pride. Mendeecees prepares tearful plea in court to unfreeze assets was the news alert that woke Erica up early on Tuesday. She scrolled he had been seen wearing a somber expression as he entered the courthouse. She hesitated, a surge of compassion filling her heart. If he truly apologized, would she be able to forgive him? A part of her longed for collaboration, but another portion protected itself from deceptive assurances. Monique called a few minutes later. We must make some last-minute changes to our witness roster. Erica dressed, her image resolute and solid. She picked up her files and walked away, once more into the storm's eye. The city prepared for a new chapter when the sun rose on Tuesday. Hearings would continue, alliances would change, and the issue would remain. Had Erica's calculated strike sealed Mendeecees' financial doom, or could he battle his way back? As the two players get ready for the morning's battle, Part 2 comes to a conclusion. The tension is like lightning, poised to ignite the next dramatic twist. As dawn light began to trickle through the large windows, the courthouse doors swung open, illuminating the polished floor with lengthy shadows. Mendeecees entered, Harold and Tasha at their sides, shoulders squared but eyes haunted. Moments later, Erica Mena showed up with Monique at her side. She was collected and quiet, wearing a modest outfit, and she had files pressed to her chest. We are here on the defendant's emergency motion to modify or lift the asset freeze, the judge said, peering over her glasses as the bailiff brought the session to order. Counsel, you may go ahead. Harold was the first to get up and move a folder across the table. Your Honor, Mr. Harris recognizes Erica's entitlement to assistance. He is willing to enter into a co-parenting mediation, guarantee minimum access for living expenses and childcare, and post a bond equal to half of the demand. His remarks reverberated throughout the large room as he spoke smoothly. The freeze had crippled Mendeecees' ability to pay even basic bills. Your Honor, the bond offer is insufficient, said Monique, who stepped next and spoke firmly. The freeze was imposed because of proven neglect, including screenshots of unpaid medical bills, daycare and infant formula billing records, and images of Erica juggling 2 jobs. Her cries went unanswered by Mr. Harris. This freeze guarantees that our client's daughter won't experience any further difficulties. She gave the folder a tap. Additionally, we have proof of hidden assets, including shell corporations and offshore transfers. Erica wants complete openness. The gallery whispered as each side delivered. Fans live commented while streaming the hearing on social media. According to one tweet, fans are shocked. Mendeecees attempting to wriggle out once more. Another, emotions ran high in that move, and Erica's lawyer is brutal. Behind them, Yandy sat with his hood still down and his eyes stifled but menacing. Watching the father of her children fight the mother of his illegitimate child over money rather than unity made her feel like a spectator in her own life. The magistrate bent forward. I'll go over the bond proposal and supporting documentation. The proceedings will resume at 2:00 p.m. I anticipate that both sides will share complete financial disclosures in the interim. Contempt will result from noncompliance. Tension flowed through the room like electricity as the gavel landed. The paparazzi crowded outside. Mendeecees were pushed by microphones. Sir, will you post the bond? Do you have any regrets? I'm doing what I need to do for my kids, he said, shaking his head and speaking in a raspy voice. That's all. Erica emerged next to him, and reporters turned around. Ms., do you think this bond is sufficient, Mena? She paused, prepared to respond, saying, my lawyer will talk about that. I'm concentrating on my daughter right now. The lenses clicked when she glanced past the microphones, perhaps indicating to an invisible youngster. The family was left divided, but she remains unbothered, said admirers, praising her self-control. Mendeecees and his colleagues withdrew to a private room for lunch. Harold listed the following actions: gathering liquidity, creating affidavits, and preparing the Mendeecees for a possible cross-examination over previous support correspondence. We'll need him to provide a detailed account of all the attempts he made to assist Erica, including phone calls, texts, and financial offers, Tasha continued. A hand swept over Mendeecees' hair. I want the court to see what I did. I'm not trying to hide. Erica spent her midday at a downtown cafe with a forensic accountant. They combed through spreadsheets, including information about wire transfers, unreported rental revenue, and dubious payments from the production firm of the Mendeecees. the accountant whispered. This line item titled Consulting Services transferred $250,000. Eric's jaw tightened. She declared, "We'll subpoena the counterpart. Allow the court to view the trial." In the meantime, unable to decide whether to call Eric or Mendeecees, Yandy drove in circles. At last, she paused on a park seat and called a family therapist she had sought advice from following the controversy. "I feel torn between justice and love," she said quietly. "I betray his trust if I support Erica. I would betray my daughter if I supported him." "You don't have to pick a side," the therapist said in a kind voice. "Despite their struggles, safeguard your kids by emphasizing healthy co-parenting." As she hung up, Yandy closed her eyes and let a tear fall. The hearing continued at 2:00 p.m. A claimed confession from a former business partner accusing Mendeecees of transferring monies to conceal assets was presented overnight, and the judge asked the clerk to read it. Gasps rang forth. "We can verify this under oath," said Monique, raising an eyebrow. "Your Honor, this is hearsay, unverified," Harold objected. "I will admit it for the specific purpose of establishing probable cause for additional discovery, not as proof of wrongdoing," the judge said, nodding. Erica grinned to herself. The confession was revolutionary because, if confirmed, it would expose more serious deceit and completely legitimize the freeze. She wrote, "Follow up on the auditor." Later, away from cameras, Mendeecees had a private meeting with Yandy in a courthouse hallway. Despite wearing sunglasses, she showed him her sober face. "I'm concerned about you," she said. "I don't want our children to grow up believing that money can solve every problem." He extended his hand to take hers. "I apologize," he muttered. "I made a mistake, but I will correct it." She gradually drew away. "Fixing you is insufficient. I must see change manifested." Tonight's top story, Erica Mena's asset freeze brought to you by Impatient Baby Mamas Everywhere, jokingly said the host of a late-night talk program that evening. Although the crowd laughed, Erica's deposition tears were recreated in the next somber footage. Jokes aside, this is a real struggle affecting real families, the host said, leaning forward. Will mothers like Erica be protected by our judicial system? Send us a tweet with your opinions. We need reform. Child support laws are broken, and Erica is a trailblazer were among the comments made by viewers. In the meantime, Mendeecees shared a short, unfiltered video on his Instagram story. "I'm not flawless," he admitted. "I love my kids, but I made mistakes. Because they deserve better, I will fight this." Reactions from admirers were divided. Some hailed his vulnerability, while others called it damage control. "Too little too late. He's trying, and Yandy deserves better" were among the remarks that read like a battleground. As she read through the comments, Erica stopped at one. "You are an inspiration to everyone who has ever been abandoned." She loved the remark and gave a small smile. "Your strength is legendary," a friend texted. She typed the heart back. Yandy woke up late and checked her phone for Mendeecees' message. She tapped back after staring for several minutes, saying, "I'll believe change when I see it, for the benefit of our children." She clicked send, then closed the application. Mendeecees showed up at the judge's chambers the following morning to discuss a temporary relief order. Monique and Erica came next. After much deliberation behind closed doors, a settlement was finally drafted, which included a tougher time frame for mediation sessions, a 48-hour deadline for discovery papers, and a partial thaw on one account for living and legal expenditures. Both sides were exhausted when they came out. Erica was given a copy by the judge's clerk, which was signed. Without saying anything, she slipped it inside her folder. Mendeecees and Erica briefly passed one another outside. She nodded in response to his nod. The brief moment was caught on camera. Fans responded, "A peaceful moment? Perhaps they can cooperate." Critics, however, were unconvinced. The following day, gossip columns made predictions on whether the couple could ever mend, whether the compromise would hold, and whether any hidden assets would come to light. The tension persisted throughout. Like smoke from an unquenchable fire, with both sides organized, the battlefield changing beneath them, and the next twist just waiting to happen. Part 3 comes to a close here. Erica Mena was up on her couch the night before the final hearing, her laptop resting on her knees. The forensic accountant had forwarded a new set of financial documents, including direct deposits into an account abroad and sizable wire transfers from a consultancy firm connected to Mendeecees' production company. Erica's mouth was clenched as she browsed the spreadsheets. "We submit these tomorrow morning, along with affidavits from the accountant and that former partner whose confession the judge allowed." Monique's voice could be heard over the speakerphone. Erica gave the vacant room a nod. "Let's get this done." In the meantime, Mendeecees paced his lawyer's office in a leased conference room. His mind was filled with pictures of Erica's daughter, her laughing, her first steps, and the way she referred to him as Data. He grabbed his phone and typed Yandy. On the second ring, she answered. "What's going on?" She sounded worn out. He took a swallow. "I'll need you tomorrow." In the courtroom, she hesitated. "To give testimony." He stated, "To support my request for partial relief." "I need you to confirm that I haven't entirely forgotten my obligations and that I have supported you and the twins." She let out a breath. "All right, but only if you guarantee that the freeze will be lifted." After hesitating, he consented. There was a buzz in the courthouse lobby on Tuesday morning. Fans waited in line to get a glimpse, journalists fought for camera angles, and gossip vloggers whispered plots. Erica and Monique nodded briefly inside the courtroom, while Mendeecees waved curtly at Yandy from the other side of the aisle. After glancing around the room, the judge called the meeting to order, saying, "We reconvene on the emergency motion. Are the parties going to be there?" First to stand, Harold gave the judge a hefty binder. "Your Honor, we have new evidence to provide before we testify." He examined the Mendeecees. This documentation reveals previously unreported sources of income, including offshore accounts, shell companies, and payments made straight into personal accounts by third-party sponsors. "We ask that the financial disclosure include these." Monique's mouth pushed shut. He had released it before she did, therefore this was her proof. The judge looked over the paperwork. "I won't take this evidence at this hearing, but I will accept it for discovery purposes." She let out a sigh. "Go ahead and testify." Yandy got up gradually. She had her hair pulled back, her face calm but exhausted, and she wore a dark blazer. The oath was delivered by the clerk. After glancing at the Mendeecees, Yandy turned to face the judge. She started by saying, "I have been married to Mr. Harris for 10 years. Even throughout his difficult times, he has always supported our twins by taking them to school and covering their medical expenses. He has never turned down my request for money." She looked at Mendeecees, who gave her a grateful blink in return. Erica's mother sat with her friends in the gallery, their faces tight. Erica waited with her eyes closed. "Has Mr. Harris ever neglected to support or communicate with you regarding your twins?" the court inquired. Yandy hesitated. "Yes," she said quietly. "He wasn't responding when he went on tour last year. I had to pay for the daycare myself, and occasionally I would seek for assistance with the expenses and receive no response." The courtroom echoed with a gasp. The judge gave a nod. Harold took advantage of the situation and said, "Your Honor, there are documented gaps, even though my client has generally supported his married family, and these intervals align with the period of Ms. Mena's pregnancy and beyond." The judge looked across at Monique. "Is the plaintiff interested in cross-examining?" Monique gave a head shake. "No, Your Honor." The emergency motion's closing arguments were then presented by Erica's team. Despite the energy, Monique's voice remained firm as she stood up. "Your Honor, the freeze is still required. Bonding for partial relief was insufficient, and the evidence indicates that Mr. Harris has assets that are hidden. Furthermore, his erratic support for two families shows a lack of dedication. Erica's daughter has to be kept safe." Harold came next. "Mr. Harris is determined to fulfill his responsibilities. We ask that two accounts be unfrozen immediately in order to pay for living expenses, legal bills, and childcare. He needs access to funding, but he is ready to talk about modifications to the equal allocation." The judge stroked her temples while the lawyers bowed. "I will make a written decision by the end of the day." She called off the hearing. Cameras flocked to Erica soon it was out. "How are you feeling?" A reporter inquired. Erica stopped and looked at Yandy. "I feel optimistic. Accountability is the foundation of justice." She turned and took Monique with her. In the corridor, Mendeecees came up to Yandy. She took his hand after taking off her blazer. "I'm grateful," he muttered. "I want this to end too," she said with a melancholy smile. When Erica checked social media activity that afternoon, she saw that videos of Yandy's testimony went viral. Remarks ranged from shock to Yandy exposed him, and compassion, she's conflicted. Erica let out a sigh. Her triumph felt nuanced. "Tell me when it's over so we can talk strategy," she messaged Monique. The news alert said judge rules to partially lift asset freeze, accounts limited to household expenses only, and Mendeecees sagged in his car. He stared at the screen. Access to utilities and rent was made possible by partial relief, but the majority remained sealed. Both relief and sting. He called Harold. "We make an appeal?" Harold's voice faltered. "We'll think about it. Yet you've got a strict deadline for complete disclosure. Then you run the risk of being disdained." Eric and Monique met in a peaceful cafe at twilight to go over the judge's written ruling. Although the judge acknowledged the cooperation of both parties, she came to the conclusion that total unfreezing would defeat the original order's intent. Basic living expenses would be covered by a partial thaw, but exploration would go on. According to the opinion, the freeze remains a necessary measure. Erica gave a nod. "We have the funds we require for the time being," she stated, and he's compelled to reveal all of his cards. As he watched from home, Yandy noticed the headline, "Mendeecees remain frozen, Erica Mena secures funds." "At least the children will be all right," she texted Mendeecees. He answered, "Thank you." Rumor sources that evening suggested a new development, a purported text message from Mendeecees to Erica pleading for a private settlement to prevent additional harm. With her heart racing, Erica gazed at her phone. Should she answer? Monique texted me, saying, "Don't." Erica typed a message as midnight drew near. "We settle." Complete transparency. Final hearing the next week. She hesitated. She felt turmoil. Would her daughter's right to public accountability be compromised by a private agreement? Unanswered, she put the phone down. And part 4 finishes with the destiny of two families and their lives hanging on the precipice of the next discovery, leaving that cliffhanger, settlement or judicial confrontation, hanging in the air. Despite the intense courtroom drama, neither side has given ground. The freeze is still in effect, requiring Mendeecees to put his financial cards on the table even if Erica Mena was able to get the money she needed to care for her daughter. The judge's partial relief and the gaps in support revealed by Yandy's pivotal evidence give everyone a sense of victory, but also serve as a reminder that the actual fight is still far from finished. Settlement offers are on the line, emotions are raw on all sides, and hidden accounts continue to lurk behind legal veils. You've seen how Erica changed from a disdained mother to a ferocious activist who demands openness and accountability. You've witnessed Mendeecees struggle with pride, remorse, and the pressing need to support the two families he established. You have experienced the heartache of Yandy as she struggles with justice, loyalty, and her own children's destiny. Fans remain split. Some support Erica's uncompromising position. Some hope Mendeecees will be saved, and many are concerned about the toll this war will have on the children caught in the crossfire. It's your time now. What are your predictions for the upcoming hearing? Will Erica pursue complete public disclosure or accept a private settlement? Will Mendeecees' finances be frozen until the outcome of the case, or will he be able to restore confidence and take back control of his assets? In this precarious truce, where does Yandy stand? Will she keep mediating or will she completely withdraw? Tell us which side you support by leaving your thoughts in the comments section below. If you're keeping up with this legal drama, don't forget to subscribe and like this video so you can receive immediate updates when the next exciting installment comes out. To ensure you never miss the inside scoop on legal battles, lies, and love, click the notification bell. Keep watching till the next time, and keep in mind that the actual tale of this drama starts when the gavel falls.